Welcome back to the No Stay Project. I'm Marc Stevens, author of Adventures in Legal Land. Website, of course, markstevens.net, and the radio show, the No Stay Project, live every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LRN.FM and carried also by TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Welcome back. You've been on the show a number of times, but welcome back, Jameson.
Good to be back.
I'm glad to have you back, and this is something that it's a very interesting situation, and in my recollection, I mean, we've had many traffic tickets thrown out involving no registration and that. This is different because I've never actually seen. I don't remember actually ever seeing this before. That this has to do with getting the registration without actually paying for it, paying the tax. So walk us through this and give us a little bit of history, and then we'll get into the paperwork, which I've got up here on the screen so that people in the video can see. So give us a little bit of background leading up into what we're looking at here. This bill from the Franklin County Tax Collector.
Well, the first dealings with the Franklin County Tax Administration that I dealt with from the capacity of the material we use for No State Project was about a year ago. I had a coworker who had 6 or 7 years of back vehicle taxes, and I pitched the material to him, and he was somewhat familiar that I've talked to him over the last few years about it, and he was willing to give it a try. So I recorded on YouTube it's about a 35 to 40 minute recording that I did with the head tax assessor for Franklin County, North Carolina, and that was the first dealing I had with him. And then fast forward a few months to about 4 months ago, I called from my cell phone. I called the tax administration concerning my own personal vehicle tax pertaining to the vehicle, and what happened was I went through several of the questions, which are based off of what material that I've heard you use, Mark, over the years, and questions that are formulated off of the material and right out of the book.
Right, and just real quick, we're talking about just asking questions. You're calling them basically to verify. You're calling them on to verify their accusations. Like here, for example, they're alleging that there's an amount due of $89.72. So all you're really doing, and the material really goes to the Socratic method, which is just asking questions. You guys believe that there's $82.72 due you. What facts do you rely on?
Precisely. Just the important thing to remember is always keep them sticking to the facts, the evidence, and witnesses with personal first-hand knowledge that they rely on to make these allegations or to allege that there's an actual tax obligation that even exists. And the questions that I've heard you use in the Call of Shame, I borrowed these questions, and they really are puzzled by it. I've had the county tax assessor say it was the most bizarre conversation that he's ever had, which that can be
Nice.
heard on the YouTube clip, which hopefully we can get that posted.
Yeah, we'll get it linked up to this video.
Good deal, and that's what I've done. I've asked them to stick to the facts and to prove that the code, this North Carolina state tax code and statutes are applicable in this particular situation, which I try to give them that outlet and not make it so obvious that really it doesn't apply to anybody. I like to ask them whether or not they can prove if it's applicable in this specific situation, to kind of give them an outlet to go ahead and, if possible, to abate the assessment or zero it out, as they like to use
Right.
The phrase. And when I went into the tax office today to have a sit-down meeting, what I thought was going to occur, the clerk pulled up my information, and she found that it had been zeroed out sometime. It appeared to me that she looked through the notes on the case file,
Whoa.
and she told me that I owed no money to the county. It had been zeroed out, and she said I was free to leave and could go get my vehicle registration. She then proceeded to remove the block that is tied into the state, North Carolina state registration or tag office, license plate office, and she removed that block. And I asked her simply if she could give me some kind of printout or confirmation, and then at that time she was able to print off a screenshot, which you should be able to
Right.
see.
Right. I have got that up now.
And on that, within that screenshot, you can see clearly that it alleges the amount owed, and then it has an abbreviation, what I believe to be an adjustment of negative $89.72.
Right.
And then beside that, where it says payment or credit, it shows a .00 because I gave them no money, so there's no payment or credit.
Okay.
And then the unpaid balance is at zero also.
Right. So that was okay. So that cleared it up for me because I wanted a little more to say. Well, look, we see it's zeroed. So if you go down over here, on the right side, unpaid balance and everything's zero. Next month due zero. It wasn't clear to me when you first sent it to me. Because I'm a skeptic by nature. I want to make sure there's certainty. So I believed you. It's just that if we posted it, before we got it posted, I gotta have Oh, but here this clears it up. Obviously, this looks like I think payment. It looks like it's probably for payment, so there's zero. But so okay. So did she give you? So this is for the vehicle license tax, which they don't always like to admit that it is a tax. But
to correct you, this is for the county. It's in regards to a property tax on the vehicle.
Oh, this isn't for the license tax, the vehicle license tax.
No, that's done through, at least here in North Carolina, that's done through as a state agency. That's a state dealings, whereas this, being the county, is for the property tax that's assessed on everyone's real estate and or vehicles.
Oh, so this is even better than I originally thought. This is a straightforward property tax that you've gotten zeroed out.
Correct.
Very nice. Wow. I just assumed it was the vehicle license tax, and I apologize for that. Wow. This is a bit more significant, and yeah, it may only be $89.72, but it's the principle behind it that you got them to back off of a property tax assessment.
Well, exactly. Usually the sums I imagine they deal with are much greater as far as real estate is concerned and the value of their house. But specifically here in North Carolina, in Franklin County, we had a major issue is when they did the reevaluations of property this year, and people's evaluations were in some cases anywhere from 200 to 400% increases from the year before. And they had to spend another few $100,000 to go back and pay the company to give a more correct evaluation of their house. So it's quite a corrupt system that goes on here, as it does everywhere else, I'm sure.
Yeah, but this is pretty cool because again, it is a property tax one, and most of the time, I had one with Marcelo in McAllen, Texas, who was challenging the property tax, which was on a house. And he wound up moving before we were able to really start getting going. And, it's in the call to shame with the chief appraiser of Hidalgo County. I forget it. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he moved. But this is it's the same underlying principle or attack. In any property tax or tax situation. So this is great. I'm even happier now, and it's a bigger congratulations for this because it is significant, regardless of even if it was only 72 cents. Is the fact that we've got evidence here where they basically zeroed out. They dropped, and a property tax attack against you.
Well, that was I think that name was Rolando Garza that you were looking for.
Yes. Thank you.
If memory serves. But it's important to me because just the fact that what we do is we consider to be damage control. They also apparently like to use that method because they could have easily just butted heads with me and not answered any questions, and I would have had to have paid every penny of it. But they would rather have done their version of damage control and get me out of the office and not waste any more of their time and just get people who are willing to pay in and out as quickly as possible. So I see what they did is damage control on their end.
Well, yeah. Why bother and trying to answer questions about facts that the code is applicable and what and the property's taxable and that they have jurisdiction when they don't have any evidence and it's easier just to drop it. What's going to be interesting is I'm going to assume, and you can let me know if I'm right. That there may be another one of these bills. Let me go back to that first page. There may be another one of these bills for next year. I mean, is this a yearly thing?
Yes, this is once a year. You get sent usually around February. They send out the is for the vehicles and for the real estate slash your house evaluations.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do next year if they
Yeah,
send you another one.
yeah. I'm expecting them to do the same thing, and we actually have a new. The guy who I dealt with previously decided to go to another county where he was going to get paid double what he was making here. So I'm going to be dealing with somebody totally different, and hopefully the same results will occur. And I plan to possibly record as much of the conversation between us as possible.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. Why don't you give your website out and we'll get that linked.
You can look us up on Facebook at No State Project NC. That's with spaces in between the No State Project part, and we are willing to help as many people in our area as possible. I know you've got a heavy load of people that you deal with, Mark, so we're always out there looking to help as many people out our way as we can.
Well, I appreciate that, and definitely check it out. We'll get that linked on on the video and the article. Hey, again, big congratulations! Get a property tax. Not only did you get a property tax thing zeroed out and thrown out, you got some documentation here from right from them the man themselves to prove it, which is great. So a big congratulations. Appreciate you taking your time to come on the show, and we'll talk again.
Sounds good, Mark. Keep up the good work on your end, too.
Thank you.